Okay, so 7 o'clock, I'll call the Tuesday, August 18th meeting to order. First thing, if you could rise and say the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Before we get started here, I'd just like to introduce our two new members that joined us. We've got Taylor Goudreau, got my French-Canadian right? Yes. And Ray Bogue, right?
But I'll answer either.
I'll call you Ray.
That'll work.
So if you guys, I don't know, this is Kathy Lavasser, the recording secretary. Lindsay Tosto, Lindsay Dunleavy Tosto. Joe Marie Buckley, Ellen Walsh,
Just somebody that just hanging out
Jason
here.
Christian. So,
Both.
welcome aboard,
Welcome back.
and yeah, welcome back.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, so first thing on our agenda is an intro, before I forget, we're, due to our non-compliance with the MBTA Communities Act, we are still at $1.7 million in grants lost. If the public is watching. So next on the agenda is Shawshene Tech intro to new business manager Ian Gosling. Did I get that right, Ian?
Yes, you did.
Okay, good. 2 for 3.
So I think most of you know me. I know you have a couple new members. My name's Tony McIntosh. I'm the superintendent at Shawshene Tech. As you alluded to, Mr. Ian Goslin is our new business manager. He started with us on July 20th. We also have Bob Hutchins, who is one of the Tewksbury representatives of the Shawshene School Committee with us.
So Ian, if you could just take a couple minutes and introduce yourself.
Sure.
And where you going?
My name's Ian Gosling. Born and raised from educators. Was a teacher, assistant principal, worked my way up to assistant superintendent for finance in Methuen. It was time to move on from Methuen. The politics was getting such that I didn't want to play that game anymore. And I've always had an eye on a vocational school, specifically either Shawshene or Lawrence, Greater Lawrence Tech, which are pretty close to where I live. I still live in Methuen. I started the 20th. I've been working diligently to go through the books and make sense of what's there, get a sense of the skill set, the strengths and weaknesses of the staff that are around me, the willingness to make change if it needs to be done. So far, I'm very pleasantly surprised with the staff. They seem to be eager. They want direction, they want change, they want things to be done in a more accurate manner. So I'm very pleased with that. There are some accounting, and I don't want to say discrepancies, but just the account codes aren't set up the way makes it easy to look at or do state reporting. So I'm in the process of rewriting all the account structures or the account codes so that moving forward, it'll be a Herculean task at the beginning, but as we move forward, it will be so much easier to do any reporting, whether it be local, state, federal. If there's any other questions you have for me, I'm an open book. As I told the select board last week, I will send you guys all my contact information. I prefer to have a conversation. I prefer a phone call or to come sit in my office. I'm more than willing to do that with anybody. And again, don't be afraid to reach out to me or call me here. I'll come meet with you. Or you can come meet with me.
Okay, I'll open it up for questions. Anybody? I'll start with Jason.
Do you want to go first?
Oh, why start with me?
I always go to my left first.
Oh, man. Well, you left Methuen because of politics.
Well,
Give me a,
it was time. I'd been there 15 years. It was time for a new challenge.
So professionally, you felt like you were just gonna get pigeonholed and,
No, not at all. Not at all. Honestly, I will say school committee, even city council, they were very fair to me. They were always fair to me. They did their best to get me to stay. I had already given my word to Shawshing Tech. I'm not somebody who goes back on my word. I was offered, believe it or not, more money to stay there, along with a lot of other things that would have been
the
nice.
additional duties that you took on to
Well-
kind of mitigate some of the financial
Well-
hardships.
Yeah, I did take on a lot and never really got paid for it.
Okay.
However, I never really pushed for it.
All right.
I'm not a guy about titles. I'm not a guy about how much money can I make. I never have been. I got offered this job. I gave my word. They came back and said, "How can we get you to stay?" And I said, "I've already given my word. It's not personal. It's not." They were all very fair to me. I left on good terms. I got a call yesterday afternoon from the guy who replaced me. I went over to his office yesterday afternoon at 4 o'clock to, go through Chapter 74, breakdowns of Chapter 70 funding, et cetera, et cetera. So we have a very good relationship. At no point do I feel like I was going to be pigeonholed or anything like that.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure they'd take me back tomorrow if I would go.
You said that technical high school was where you would like to go. Now, with a regular school, you have one master. Here you have 5. What situation have you been in where you've had to answer to that many people? I don't mean like the school committee. I mean, outside of just the town of Methuen, is there anything that you've ever done?
Where I've had,
Big picture, like.
where I've had to deal with 5
Yeah,
select boards, 5 finance committees, 5, never.
so first,
I'm not gonna make something up. So I've never dealt with that many, but I'm pretty confident I can.
have you watched any of the minutes of any of our meetings that we've had throughout the other communities?
I have not.
Okay. I would suggest that you go back and watch all of them.
Well,
This way you can have a good gist of where we're all coming from.
because you told me to, I will go back and watch some.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, when I was a teacher, I didn't want to know how that child was with another teacher. So everyone kind of gets I don't want to come in with preconceived notions of you guys or preconceived notions. I want to be able to learn it for myself, see how you guys relate to me, see how I relate to you, see how. So I'm always leery of going back and looking for dirt because it may not be the same. I may not have the same outlook as I would if I saw it fresh for myself. Am I making sense?
Yeah, I can,
I-
I can appreciate that
Yeah.
response.
But since you've told me to, I will go back and if there's any specific dates or whatever, I'll get you my
When you
email.
send the contact information, I'll reach out
Yeah.
and let you know.
Yeah, I will.
That's all I got.
I was going to say, if I
have a
could
few
just
more, but,
interject based on that, because Ian, welcome, Jo Marie Buckley. I believe you have heard about me at this point, just based on some of the school committee meetings that I've listened to. Tony and Bob, just as an FYI, if only 12 people are viewing, there's still 12 people viewing your televised school committee meeting. So you might want to remind the school committee members that we do hear what's being said about us. We don't take it personally like they seem to, but it doesn't help accomplish what we're trying to do next year, right? So that being said, Ian, I appreciate your response, but it's not looking for dirt as much as it is gathering information. And I will say one of the things that greatly concerned me in your final interview was it didn't appear anyone had told you what you were inheriting and what you were about to walk into. And I think that's a big concern for me personally, as well as me in this role. You have right now 3 out of 5 sending towns who have not approved a budget that you're now going to have to digest, analyze, and be able to present. All 5 towns voiced concerns about that budget, even though 2 approved it just to try to keep things moving along. I think that's not dirt gathering as much as it is really knowing what you're getting into and how to develop those relationships. I watched the select board meeting last week, and I appreciate you saying you want phone calls, you want communication, but I would suggest if we're calling you with questions, it's because the communication failed. And it should have been already vetted and already presented. And I think that's the main problem of this year, especially. I can't speak for years past, but it seems like there has been a mentality of the school committee that the towns are just going to keep rubber stamping the budgets. There's been issues in the last few years with those budgets. Sometimes they've been raised, sometimes they've been overlooked. And we are now where we are now because it came to a head where all of the towns said, wait a minute, what's happening? This isn't right. This doesn't make sense, right? And I don't fault Tony completely because he's newer to the role, right? So we are where we are because there's been a complete breakdown between the towns and the school committee members, between the towns and the administration, and it needs to change. And we're hoping you're the agent of that change. But we're not going to be able to be the ones to spearhead that. That's going to have to come from your side of the house, right?
That's fair.
So that's why we're welcoming you and we want to meet you and we want to have these, difficult conversations, but necessary conversations so that we can try to get back on track, right? So that being said, I think some of the concerns that I wanted to bring up tonight, and I haven't fully digested the budgets completely, but I know, Tony had said that there was a 435,000 or so reduction. I saw two guidance and science seem to have gone up by 100,000 each from March until June, so obviously we want to understand what happened there. I know John at the select board meeting last week asked for you guys to be able to do more side-by-side comparisons year over year, so we're not just kind of getting summaries. So those are all great kind of feedbacks of what we're looking for and what we're expecting, so that we don't have this happen again, because we want to be able to work collaboratively. I think one of the things that frustrated me personally in this process is my son went to the tech. And that seemed to be fodder for why aren't we just rubber stamping it? If people are saying that their kids go there or they want their kids to go there, somehow that means we should excuse the huge discrepancies in the accounting that were being presented to us. And I want to be very clear, Shawshene Tech is a great school. This has nothing to do with the teachers there. This has nothing to do with the academics that are happening there and the great work that is happening there. This is a business failure. This is not an academic failure. And we are now asking you, as the business manager, to fix this business failure. And I'm more than happy to explain more of those expectations to you, and I don't want to put you on the hot seat tonight to have you have to respond to those expectations, but I want to make it clear that when we're talking, it's to try to fix something that was broken under other people's watches at Shawshene Tech. Not anyone else on this side of the table or on any of the sides of the table in the other four towns. Okay?
Yeah, that's
All right.
it's fine.
That's all I had.
And I welcome, come sit in my office, sit down and tell me, I'm willing to learn.
No, and we
Yeah.
all sit here.
Yeah.
We're all volunteers, right? So
Right.
none of us are getting paid to do this
Right.
job.
No,
And I will say collectively, we have all watched all of the other towns' town meetings. We have all watched numerous school committee, finance committee, select board meetings, because we want to make sure that we understand where all of our peers on the sending community side are sitting. And one of the things that we brought up, Rich has brought up, I think it's still a great idea, is to have some type of advisory subcommittee with either the town managers or a member of each of the FinCom committees for each of the towns so that we can work collaboratively. Because it's really difficult and it's really frustrating when we have, and I really appreciate, Bob, I want to say I appreciate you being here tonight, because I know it's a difficult position that you're in as a Tewksbury representative on the school committee, that you hear us talking about it and you feel obviously that there's some responsibility we're putting on the school committee for this as well, but you're here. Right? And I give you credit for that, because that's what we want to have happening, is we want the towns to be able to work with the school committee members, with the administration, to get this back on track. because the kids deserve that, right? It doesn't directly impact them at this point, but at some point it would. If we just kept this circling the drain, it would eventually impact the educational component of this. So that's why we're trying to nip it in the bud now, so that a new school can be built, so all the great things that we all want to see happen can happen. But we're not at that point because we're trying to get back on track. And I think I would love to see that kind of collaboration going forward.
So I don't know if you saw the Bill Ricca Finance Committee meeting 2 or 3 weeks ago now, but we actually brought that up in conversation with
Perfect.
them and asked for a representative, like one from each finance committee, so that we can also have some direction.
That would be great.
Do you want to see a 3-year comparison? Do you want to see a 5-year comparison? What has been missing to help people be informed? So
Perfect.
We did put that out there, and I think both of us are intent on trying to make that happen.
I love it. Thank you. That's all I have. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Right?
Yeah, so I guess my main question is, you mentioned you have a curriculum task in front of you, and you were working on some of those. And don't anybody roll your eyes, but if you guys are looking at using some of the AIs to help you sort through this data and figure out the best way to move forward?
I haven't been looking at AI, no. The biggest issue I see right now is that the account code structure does not directly tie to the Department of Ed's account code structure.
To be honest with you,
So-
that's an excellent question for AI.
Yeah, well, and I can tell you honestly that if you have a good handle on AI, I would take your help, because AI is not my thing.
Yeah,
So
actually,
I'm just starting to dabble in it.
I'll refer to Joan Marie.
I've-
She did, and I go,
I'm being forced against my will. My work uses it a lot. I
Okay.
hate technology, but I am being forced against my will
Yeah.
to use it more. So I mean, in the interest of full disclosure, I did run the 2025, the March and the June, just to have Claude tell me because this is not my world to
Yeah.
be looking at these budget books as extensively, and to try to, so yeah, I can definitely share with you kind of what it's showing
I
me.
sat in a very short leadership meeting the other day, and they talked about, I forget the name of it,
Magic School.
Magic School, IA, and AI, sorry. If I had that when I was teaching, I just don't know how to use it.
Yeah.
I'm not there yet, and
You don't want to speak to some of your staff members, you never know. Some
Yeah.
of them could be dabbling on the side and using.
Oh, I'm sure in the ISSN.
Yeah.
That's where my son was in ISSN, and they talked about it a lot.
Somebody may step up and say, hey, oh yeah, I do this all the time, but
yeah,
get you started.
yeah, that's a good point, thank you.
It's helpful just to do. I mean, you can't rely on it 100%, but it definitely helps
You're
get
gonna regret I'll be calling
organized.
you.
No, that's what I would love it. I would love it. It's better than silence.
Yeah,
So I don't really know anything else. I know we're going to move on to the actual budget discussion. right?
Yeah, we're
Right now,
gonna,
this is just,
we're gonna move on, we're gonna do the discussion as part of the fall town meeting stuffs. So that'll be in the September meetings.
well, I mean, I was looking at the agenda here, it says budget discussion with the superintendent.
That's kind of where we're at right now.
Okay, so we're discussing right now.
Not in detail.
Well, I just had a few other points.
Yep,
You gave me my homework,
yep.
all the YouTube videos, and I watched them, very informative, to make sure that I was up to speed on what the FinCom was. Just a lot of Joe Marie said, we've got students going to Shaw Tech. They need to be, we gotta be careful with students. But I'd also like to point out that 90% of the students in Tewksbury don't attend the Tech. Right, so the FinCom has to worry about the other 90%. And even back when I was on the committee back in the mid-2000s, the Finance Committee, we knew the budget growth that we were seeing in the assessments, they were going higher than, 2.5 plus, good growth. And I used AI to run the numbers. And, right now, if you go past 5 years, per student, it's been going up. This is the Tewksbury assessment. It's been going up 5.5% every single year per student. So that doesn't matter how many students, if we got 100, it's going up 5.5%. Pretty sure that's above our revenue growth. I don't have that number, but I'm pretty sure it is. So obviously that can't continue. Now, Superintendent McIntosh, when I watched some of the meetings, you suggested that you wanted target numbers to work. And I think that's a great ask. When I was there watching it, saying, hey, that's great, right? You know, you're reaching out, you're asking us to give you something to help us, right? So I would hope, moving forward, and we're running out of time, because you really need these numbers early in your cycle, just like we need them early in our cycle. And I'm hoping that we can get those to you, right? And maybe we can avoid this type of stuff moving forward, right? We'll know where we're at. And so we all need, you know, when you give us our final assessment, you go over your budget, I don't think we'll be talking about the amount. We'll be saying, did you meet your target? And hopefully you met the target. If you didn't meet your target, that would be the discussion. Why didn't you meet your target? It wouldn't be like, this item, that item was too high, right? I'd like to see us get to that point where it's more discussion, how much we're missing the target by. Is that miss above our revenue growth? You know, that's really bad, right? Can't be doing that. So I agree with Joe Marie said, Shaw Tech's great, it's a wonderful institution, but 90% of our kids are never gonna go there, right? So if the Shaw Tech budget keeps pulling revenue away, so will the 90% get hurt, and I'd like to keep everything on an even keel, right? So, you know, that's my big take on what I'd like to see happen moving forward, being sort of an outsider coming in, you know, watching what was going on, town meeting, what happened there. But the only other thing I'd like to say is right now, there's 2 towns that need to vote to approve. I believe Burlington,
Billerica and Tewksbury.
well, no, but I mean.
Oh, Burlington's got approved, yes.
Yeah, Burlington got approved by definition because you lowered it underneath their, what's it,
Yeah,
$1,000.
$1,000, yeah.
So by law, they've got to.
They had 30 days to
So
take action on it.
Yeah, right. They didn't take action 30 days, so it's approved. So now it's down to 2 towns. My biggest concern there, and I sort of saw this in town meeting, is there was sort of a vibe going that, oh, if the towns don't vote, Desi's going to set the budget, and that's going to be bad for the towns. I sort of got that vibe. Maybe I had it wrong, but, you know, it's not like we don't want this to happen. So I went back and did some research and found out when it did happen, and it's happened quite a few times, right? And my concern is when it does happen, what usually happens, and I'll read this off, they have a formula, they follow it. Usually the number that comes in is definitely less than any of the budgets set by the regional school committee. It's usually more than what the towns voted. But what gets stripped from your budget, if it doesn't pass, we make the December 1st deadline, which is what will happen, is it takes out new programs, it takes out staffing expansions, it takes out elected capital additions, it takes out non-mandated equipment upgrades, and it takes out direct initiated growth initiatives. You know the number that's sitting there that will be cut. I think that'd be pretty impactful on students at Shaw Tech. So again, that sort of feeds back to what I first said. We need to work together to get a number so we don't get into this situation again where Jesse's going to set the budget. Remember, a good compromise, no one goes home happy, right? And that's really from sort of an outsider looking before I've had to sit with this, is sort of where I was at. And I think it was great you reached out, and I'm really hoping that the other 5 towns can start giving you target numbers. And I would hope you guys would hold us to the fire a little bit and say, hey, we need a number, we need a number. We can't have it in March, we need a number now. Okay. So that's really all I had to say, and thank you much.
Can I just respond
Yes.
quickly to that? So that was part of the reason, so we actually have a meeting Thursday, I think, in Bedford. So we've been making an effort to meet with town managers, finance directors, FinCom chairs, select board chairs, again, trying to just get out and connect with everybody. And again, the goal of that advisory group working group, I don't really have the correct term for it, would be to have those exact conversations. And with having all 5 towns in the room together, and also us talking about, you know, okay, you know, we don't share healthcare costs, we don't share this cost, to have a real robust conversation about this is what, you know, this is what a realistic target looks like for us.
Right.
And again, try to get everybody on board. Now, I know the one representative in finance committees can't make decisions for the finance committee, so they all will have to come back to their bodies, just like we can't make decisions for our school committee. But I'm hoping that we have this collaborative kind of exchange. And again, then, we'll start budget development probably late October, early November. So again, that's part of the reason why we're trying to get out now and shake hands and kiss babies and do all those things, so that, we're on better footing as we move forward.
Yeah, I agree. In my own opinion, it's easier to talk around a target number, because let's face it, your budget's your budget, right? And it's deep involved and everything. So, if we can come up with a simpler solution to get everybody talking about the same number, and work on the deltas and see what we can get, like I said, if it gets underneath revenue growth, okay, we're making progress, right?
Yep.
So, again, thanks. Thanks for reaching out.
Evan?
Ian, welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Through all your experience, I guess, in Methuen and your past practices, is there anything that you're bringing immediately to Shawshing Tech to try to improve the financial situation?
Having looked to see that their account codes don't tie to the Department of Ed was a little eye-opening to me. I mean, and that's, I'm learning I have a lot more background knowledge than I thought, believe it or not. I've been a school administrator, whether it be in a school building or at central office for over 20 years. I have overseen capital improvement projects, new roofs, heating systems, new boilers, gone through the procurement process for umpteen things. Those are all those things. And every day I feel like there's one, oh my God, I didn't know that like this would be helpful.
Yeah. I guess, is there any SOPs or procedures you're implementing with
Yeah,
staff?
so we actually have a draft right now. I had written one at my previous job. Of course, it was a couple of years ago. But we do have a draft that we're going through to, they had the draft before me. I didn't write it. But I'm going to go through it to make sure it makes sense to me, make sure it makes sense to what we're actually doing and we're doing it right.
Yep.
So we're in the process of work on that as well.
Excellent. And my only other question is, have you had time to digest the revised FY27 budget? for Shawshing Tech?
I've been using it to recreate the account codes, but I have not dissected it to the penny.
I guess from a cursory view at
Yeah.
first, have you found anything that's alarming or anything you think that could be cut from the budget from your preliminary reviews?
I don't know the staffing well enough, and I don't know the moving parts well enough to be able to say that, but I can promise you within a year, I can definitely find.
All right, I'll ask the same question next time then.
In my previous position, that's what we did was cut.
Correct.
So, and we're always trying to cut without affecting student-facing positions and student-facing, the end of the day, our job is to educate the kids.
Yep.
So that's paramount. So we always try to cut around the edges when you can. And then if you can't cut around the edges anymore, you need to look at what cuts have the least effect on students.
Guess my other question for you, one more. Was there any grant opportunities that you had in Methuen that Shawshing Tech's not taking advantage of?
Actually, we have a meeting, I think, Thursday to go over, we just got an email about a grant about some facility upgrades, possibly moving some of our HVAC over to, electric heat pumps, et cetera. So we're going to take a look with the facilities guys to see if that makes sense for us. The grant's not really huge, so I'm not picturing it being able to do the whole building, but there might be units that need upgrading that we're going to have to upgrade anyways. We might as well apply for the grant if so be. The grants, there's like 4 things that the grants are for, so I am keeping my eyes open for that. My previous position, we had something like $8 million worth of grants, but a lot of it is stuff that not necessarily related to vocational.
Perfect, thank you.
Yep.
Taylor?
Well, Marianne, If you haven't seen the meetings, then you're definitely in for it. There's a lot going on. Something that you kind of mentioned was that you'd have an answer for us in a year. We've been sort of hearing about this somewhat systemic issue for a few years now. So I'm hoping that speed is of the essence and a priority here, because if people are going to be like, oh, we'll know more in a year,
Yeah.
we've kind of been hearing that.
Yeah.
So just something
Well, I'm sure I'll have something before a year, but I've been here about 27 days. I'm not ready to start cutting anything.
I understand.
Okay, so-
I'm just letting you
Yeah.
know. I'm setting the
Yeah.
stage here.
No, I understand that.
Other things that I was looking at when I was going through the budget is that there seems to be a lot of vagueness when I'm reviewing this. And I know that at least Tewksbury approved the capital study for what might need to happen to improve Shawshing Tech for the future. That seems to me to be unlikely to be a small amount of money that Shawshing Tech is then going to request from the contributing towns to fund. So any attempts to make things a little bit more transparent when we're looking through the budget is going to help that effort, because if we keep seeing revised budgets that are still not clear and not, to a level of detail where we feel that it's essentially transparent as to where this money's going, it's going to be really hard for us to then recommend whatever capital investments are going to come through. And I'm guessing that those are going to be pretty important for the students and the overall health of the school. So I'm guessing we're going to want to approve that. We're going to need to see the improvements from what we've seen so far in order to have the confidence to go through that. So I want to just kind of put that out there, that that's something that I think we're going to look for. And when we go to the town to recommend whether or not we think this money should be spent, that's going to be a big one. But yeah, other than that, I think the biggest takeaway when I was going through the budget was that it's just really vague, and I would really love to see more detail as to where some of these numbers are coming from. There's not a lot of good descriptions as to these line items, and it's essentially just confusing as to why some numbers jump really large from either small to large from years previous to the next year, or the reverse where they're going from a small number to a large number. Some of these don't even have descriptors as to why these funds are being requested. So I would say any attempts that we can get to make sure that when we see more information, that it's just clear as to where all this money is going, because it's just at a point right now that for me looking through this, it's just way too vague. So I think those are my big comments.
Thank you.
Okay, well, I'm going last, so let's see if my questions haven't already been answered. Well, first, welcome. We're happy to have you on board. I think probably one of my big ones that hasn't been covered is, I guess, what support do you think, I know you're going to in July, what did you say, July
20th, yeah.
Okay, yeah, so what support, I guess, have you received from the Shawshing Tech community, your coworkers, to understand, I guess, the problems that you're coming into? I didn't get a chance to watch, it sounds like the school committee or the final interview, whatever, saying that you maybe weren't aware of all the issues that you're inheriting. So I guess what support have you received in your couple weeks here? Understanding.
Well, I'm meeting with the office staff, payroll, bookkeeper, accounts payable, accounts, and our purchasing agent. And they've been giving me kind of the down and dirty. This is the way things have been done. This is, I've been going through the accounts. I can say, like, why are all these things in the same account kind of thing? And I've been trying to get a history through them. And like I said, they've been great about looking for change, looking for direction, very, very honest, brutally honest with me, which is what I like. You know, I don't want you to sugarcoat it, just tell me. I don't have time to get through the BS. So the staff has been completely supportive. We did have the interim business administrator in for a couple days in the 3 weeks, and I was able to ask any questions that I had with them. Tony's been very supportive. He's been doing a lot. He's been doing a lot of this role's responsibilities over the last year, and like we're working on a process on him being able to release some of that stuff and take that stuff off his plate. So we've been working very closely about, you know, how do you see this? How to, you know, and to make sure that we're all on the same page. And so far I feel very supportive. Everyone's been wonderful. There's a lot to do. I think one of the Billerica meeting where someone says you're gonna have to burn it down and start over again or something like that. And I'm like, well, we pretty much kind of have to start from scratch with the accounts, and we're gonna do it. So as far as support goes, everyone's been great. I don't know if that was the answer you were looking for, or, yeah.
Communication sounded like it's been good.
Yeah.
Like to pull all these pieces apart and put them back together, that's what you need.
Yeah.
You obviously don't have the historical knowledge, so you gotta start somewhere.
Right.
So yeah, no, that's good.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, I think that was my main question. Also, you have to have your board work excited to see what changes are to come, and, you know, hopefully next budget we get definitely more in line. I know, you know, and what he said, I know you haven't watched them. I don't think you can watch every minute, but I do think it's important.
Yeah.
We're getting the same questions that we had back then,
Right.
so just to get an idea of what we're looking for.
I'm hoping to sit down with a couple of you, maybe all of you, but not necessarily on TV, you know, to say, what do you expect? You know, and be able to have that back and forth and say, well, that's not really reasonable, but that's totally doable. Or, you know what I mean? I want to be able to have that open conversation, say, you know, what exactly are you looking for? Because if I don't know what you're looking for, I might not get it. You know what I mean? But I would love to have those conversations.
Yeah, there's definitely some pretty in-depth ones.
Yeah.
On those YouTubes, so.
Yeah.
I recommend just taking a look.
All right.
So, I get to go last. Yeah. So,
Second to last.
I appreciate what you've done between now and where we are today. The finance committee's asked you for hire a business manager, draft some SOPs. You get an accounting firm in there, a third-party firm to.
Reconcile accounts, yep.
So I appreciate that, because that's what the finance committees of the sending communities wanted. So I just want to get that out there. The problem is, it's communication and transparency. And this is just me speaking. I have, over this past year and the year before, the past couple of years, have lost complete faith in Shawsheen's ability to give a budget that they can sell at town meeting. I can't go to town meeting and sell it there. It's got to be out there beforehand. People need to know about it beforehand. Simple things like the budget from June, it's not up on your school website. So if I'm a taxpayer from Tewksbury, what am I supposed to be looking at? This one's from March. The latest one should be up there.
Thank you for pointing that out, because I wasn't aware of that.
The other thing I want to make sure of, and we touched upon it, is the relationship between the school committee of Shawshene Tech and the finance committee. That has suffered and needs to be repaired. I have watched all the school committee meetings. Can you get the budget subcommittee meetings on YouTube?
We don't typically video, that's, again, those are additional costs because we have to pay staffing to come in and run those meetings, so we usually just do the full committee meetings.
But there's minutes
It
generated.
is minutes generated, yep.
Can those be posted up on the website?
They should be under the school committee tab. If you go, it's a chronological list of the meetings, and it should have the subcommittee meeting beside it as you go down the.
Okay. So the other thing I think in this package of the budget that may confuse people is you've reduced it by 435, 451. You're giving some money back to the towns, but it doesn't break it down per town. If you just read it through real quick, so $500,000, Tewksbury's getting back $500,000. No, we're not. We're getting back.
90,000.
$140,886.53.
I think that needs to be in there. So, like I said, it hurts to say this stuff because I graduated from Shawshing Tech a long time ago. Great education, great shops, great teachers, great administration. It's just, I'm unhappy that it's gotten to this level. And I hope we can repair it and make it well for all of us. So that's all I'll say. So we've got to go through, we'll have you in again when we get to the budget review process for the October 6th town meeting. So that meeting will be on some Monday in September, either the 14th or the 20th, I guess, just a guess, 14th or 21st, because I know the public hearing will be the 28th. Haven't nailed them down though.
Days again?
Monday.
Monday,
The
14,
14th to the 21st?
14, 21, and 28.
21 and 28, I'm good. It's the other day. The 14th.
Okay,
For consideration purposes.
okay. I'm good.
Yeah, and I just wanted to reiterate, because I didn't, I tried to digest this. I think we've all tried to digest it a little bit. John's comments at the select board meeting were right on point with what we would like to see. My concern, and I think I said it already, but just to make sure it's clear that it went down by $435,000. It would be really helpful to understand if that was, because I know you said it was mostly professional development and supplies budgets and things like that. It looks like ISSN, a salary was cut. Did a staff?
So that there was a salary charge of the wrong account.
Okay.
So we fixed, again, as we went through it.
Yeah.
We made sure that was revised. It should have been a, I'm gonna have the wrong term here, instructional technologist position, but for some reason in the initial budget, when it was built by our interim, he had attached that to the ISSN budget.
Okay.
So when we went through, we caught that and we said, this doesn't belong here. It actually goes back to,
And I'm kind of assuming for guidance and science, it might have been the other way in reverse, because it was, guidance went up by 146,000 and science went up by 117,000, but that also kind of,
so the guidance one is probably absorbing that grant funded position. The science one, I'd have to look at a little bit more.
okay,
I'm not
just,
sure about.
it would be helpful just to kind of, if there was some type of summary of, this is what we had in March, this is what we have in June. And I know you had also referenced at the select board meeting that you were still working through, that the free cash had kind of come back certified, but there was still some things you were working on.
So E&D, free cash, whatever term you want to use for it, has been certified. What the committee voted to do was to do it as credits for the 27 budget, which again, we can't finalize till we have an approved 27 budget. So I do have those numbers and I'm happy to share them with people. And again, I can send this to the chair. I believe you're the only email address I have for the board, but the May 26, 2026 Budget and Facilities Capital Subcommittee minutes list out where those revisions and cuts are, so I'll happily send that
Perfect.
to everybody. And it walks through the cuts to the capital budget and what we changed and what we didn't change.
Great.
And what the dollar figures are.
Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, Rich gets us, if you send it to the chair, he gets it out to all of us.
Yep.
Just, if before the September meeting, people have specific things that you'd like us to respond to, I'm gonna volunteer in as well, but please, if there's a question, whether you want them to go through Rich or however you wanna handle it, please send them to us so that, hopefully we can respond to that stuff before the meeting.
Great.
And we can come in on that night and,
Be ready.
and
Perfect.
make sure everything has been at least researched and possibly addressed, if we can get it back in a timely manner.
Thank you.
Is there another revised budget that you're planning on sending, or is this?
No, this is it.
The June one is what we should be working on.
Yeah.
though.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I didn't know, I sent it to Ray. If you need, we had one of our committee members that has had the approved one for the previous fiscal year, if you find that help. I know I found it helpful just to kind of see the changes.
26 one?
The approved 2026.
Yeah.
Because I'm still newer. I still consider myself newer to this committee, and I found it helpful to be able to kind of review what had been approved the previous, because that wasn't, the figures were included as what had been approved, but there wasn't like the breakdown necessarily. So I can send that, I think you sent it out, but I'll send it again to you if you want to circulate it.
Yep. Okay.
We're good, sir? All right, thank you. Have a great night.
You are.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thanks.
Okay, so we have two sets of minutes from May 6th and June 22nd. That was the special town meeting and the meeting after.
I'll approve those minutes.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous vote?
Not voting. I wasn't here.
Oh, okay.
That's legally, in all the meetings I've been in, if you're not here, you have to say not voting. So,
No, I don't believe you do, but that's,
just back in the old
That's
days
okay.
and on the other committee I'm on, it's always not
That's-
voting.
So it's funny that you say that, Ray, because that's what I always thought too. And then I think it was this committee, and then there was another committee that they said as long as you reviewed the minutes
Oh, okay.
from the meeting, that it was okay to vote. So I don't,
If
I'm
you
not,
abstain, you're just safer.
yeah, but you can abstain, I think is always a safe bet.
okay, so 6:01, right?
Look at that.
Okay, so we need a motion to adjourn.
I will move, this feels weird.
Oh, sorry, I thought we did them both at once.
I'll move to approve the June 22nd meeting minutes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Not voting? Or opposed?
Not voting.
Abstaining.
Okay.
Pay the lady.
That was going on here.
We still have that.
Okay, now any other motions? I'll accept a motion to adjourn.
Which feels weird. I'll move to adjourn, but that feels very weird. I haven't been allowed to do that for 2
know.
years.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous?
Nay.
Thank you.